Big It You. This was composed by J. Zart, who grew up in a family religious order, and it's read, J has deceased, and it's read by his father, David. The title is Big It You. After making coffee, Iron Man set out on his journey to Big It You. He had overslept again and was slightly behind schedule. Somehow the rigorous training in early rising that he'd received in boot camp had faded after he had left the service. He hopped on his bicycle of childhood expectations and sped off to class. The old bike, paint peeling, creaked and wobbled as it moved along. Iron Man's mind left the present moment and drifted back to Chicago, where a "We Shall Build the Earth" session was in progress. He reflected on the fact that the notion was not quite as easy as it had seemed back then in the day of a new era. He was brought back to the now by a sound of a large diesel engine and the screech of rubber on the blacktop. He looked up to see the garbage truck of reality bearing down on him. Iron Man awoke in the grass amid a tangle of the spectators of eternal sensation and lay on his back for several moments. As the shock of reality confrontation faded slightly, he found that his body seemed to be undamaged. Iron Man suddenly remembered his precious bicycle and looked around to see where it was. Unfortunately, the bicycle of childhood expectations lay mangled beneath the garbage truck of reality. For a moment, Iron Man thought he could salvage the wreck, but he quickly realized that it was hopeless. The bike had been nearly worthless before the wreck, literally held together with baling wire of denial and the duct tape of forced hope. All in all, Iron Man considered himself lucky to be alive. He was never sure how he had survived the impact. Perhaps it had been his overweight backpack, crammed with mind-numbing amounts of information, that had thrown him free of the wreckage. He got up and brushed off the dust of despair and picked up his pack. It had peanut butter and jelly oozing from one pocket, but otherwise it seemed okay. Iron Man wiped up the mess with some napkins he had in-kinded at Burger King and strode off to his philosophy class. He'd be late, but he'd already had more than enough philosophy for one time. J. Zart.